Hey guys, Cruxel. Welcome to my part 2 of my autoexec no bullshit video. I'm just going to be going over some things that I overlooked and things you guys showed me. Make sure you watch part 1 first though, because it shows you how to actually make the autoexec. This is just going to be further things that you can add to it, and also just some notes that I had. First up is this path I'm about to show you is possible to put your autoexec in. It's the old way to do it. It does not get backed up via the cloud like my way, and if you have multiple users on your computer, like I said, you can't customize it between the two, so that's why I showed you my method, but that does work just as well. Also, I'm not going to be showing you anything that could risk a VAC ban. That'd be fucked up, and I wouldn't waste your time like that. And third, stop telling me to use Atom and Sublime and Notepad 2, you fucking dweebs. I just showed you whatever I use, and it works. So you can do that if you want, but anyways, onto the video. This is my paste bin where it's going to have all the commands. First up is the instant C4 drop. This is where instead of the traditional way of just pulling out your bomb and dropping it, you can hit a key and it drops it like instantly and pulls you back up to your weapon that you're using. So there you can see it in action compared to the old school way like this. It's quite a bit slower and just honestly easier. Nice thing to have. Second up is going to be clearing decals, which is blood, bullet holes, and nade marks. You can bind it to a key to just do it, or you can bind it to a key that's already bound and put the already bound function before the semicolon here. Like for me, I have the reload and walk keys bound to this, and it clears up everything. Next up is finding where C4 is planted in the smoke. You could bind a key here. I didn't have any footage of this, unfortunately, but it shows a little arrow where the bomb's planted when you turn it on for ninjas and shit like that. Also, use these settings instead of the ones I showed you yesterday if you want to use the HRTF engine, which was just added to the game. It's going to actually break the engine if you don't do it this way. Here's the proper files for the new CL Show Team equipment. Make sure you're binding a key to it. I just did the space key for jump and that, so you're obviously going to be jumping at some point in the game and it'll turn it on. As you can see, it goes over their heads and you can see it through wall what they're using. And here is a cool little bind I found from one of you guys. Actually, a few of you guys showed me this. It's to show the net graph with the scoreboard and only if you hit the scoreboard. So if you don't like it having it on your screen, it looks kind of cumbersome. Here you can see when I hit the scoreboard, it shows me all my stats like my FPS, my choke, my loss, all that shit, and my connection. Pretty useful. Now for the quick nade throws. These are going to cancel your nade throw animation so you can throw them back to back. It might not seem like big of a change, but it really is once you get the timing down. As you can see here, it is in action. I'm just popping nades after nades, and halfway through the throw animation, it gets canceled. There, when I switch to the smoke, you can see how much slower it is without it. And here's a simpler way to change your crosshair size. The reason I didn't show you guys this is because my way was more customizable, and while it may be more confusing to do, you can change it from your normal crosshair, which I like the look of. And next up is if you want to bind your keys to pull out any weapons or nades, I heavily suggest you do this instead of fucking scrolling like a goddamn silver. If you don't want to, you can fuck off, honestly. Everything next on this paste bin is made by NVLBG. He's a fucking god, I guess, and made all these cool ass binds. So here's the first one. You can ignore this whole section. It's just setting up this next bind. But you're going to want to bind a key for volume up and volume down, and it changes it by 10% increments. And it actually shows you in console what your current audio level is if you don't want to be going into your settings every time when you change that. Next up is to reduce the gun and scope bobbing during movement and during crouch. It's super useful, but note that this value is enforced by ESEA and ESEL for the bob cycle command, so make sure you're not changing that so you don't get banned or anything. But as you can see, while scoped and while moving, you move a lot less. Here's a classic 1.6 view model I've been using all video, pretty straightforward. Now on to some really useful resources. First up is fonts by SBDDL. They're super easy to install. All these links at the bottom, don't copy and paste them into your autoexec, just open them up and they'll have instructions to install them and everything. As you can see different fonts to use in your game and some examples in game of how it looks. Next up is made by the awesome Maxime, aka Banana Gaming, is the color text mod v3. It's how I get the rank number next to my name. You guys keep asking what the fuck that is. There you go. It has a lot of awesome features and I would definitely suggest it. Also made by Maxime is the radio commands v2. It just improves the radio commands and lets you do a lot of different functions. It's really cool to play around with. And lastly is the Vibrance GUI. It makes your game really vibrant, although it doesn't work for laptops currently. I'm not sure if they're going to add that functionality later. Really hoping I didn't overlook anything this time because I doubt there's going to be a need for part 3. But before we depart, I did want to bring up my giveaway I'm starting for you guys. I'm giving away a field-tested Op Asimov and a minimal wear Op Hyper Beast. Giveaways are kind of bullshit in themselves, so that's why I'm saving this for the end of the video. But if you'd like to join and hopefully win, click the green link here or in the description or down in the comments or on my Twitter. Many different ways to enter, and I paid for this shit out of pocket, so if you complain about getting free skins out of money that I haven't even been paid by YouTube yet, fuck off. Thanks for watching.